How's everybody doing? Let's see how this lighting looks. A little bit better, maybe. I don't know. Welcome, welcome everybody to a brief return to the routine. I think next week we'll start to things will get back to a somewhat sense of normalcy. Uh, but let's get through introductions first. Welcome to the show. My name is Stuart Davis, a flawed man of God. I am a humble parishioner at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a biblical scholar. I haven't been to seminary. I'm not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm here to do is talk about God, talk about Jesus, talk about the Holy Spirit, talk about the Bible, talk about Christianity, talk about a wide variety of different topics, issues, and current events, and give you my perspective on them, one that I think is reflective of your average Christian guy. I've been a Christian all my life, 41 years, non denominational Protestant. I don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination. I'm just in the word daily, trying to do it better each and every day. Um, what else? Oh, so if you're look, it's been a while. I'm off my routine, and I appreciate you guys dealing with this. But really, this is an outreach to believers and non-believers alike. People who are believe when I talk about non-believers, if you are looking to become one, or if you are looking to be a person who can find that faith in Jesus, and if you are on out here searching the web, looking for motivation or encouragement or reassurance that you're doing the right thing, well, good. Glad I can provide that for you right now. Keep it up. Choosing to follow Christ, choosing to put your faith and belief in him is perhaps is definitely the greatest decision you can make. And if you need that reassurance to start walking along that path, then hopefully this can be one place of many you can find it. But please continue on, because we're all rooting for you. Me, the chat, anybody who is who can consider themselves a Christ-loving human being should be supportive of anybody trying to pursue Christ. But maybe you want to you'll like to, stick around, hang out, and join us in what we do here, which is basically a very relaxed setting where we discuss faith, where we discuss God, and we talk about Scripture as we read through it. Our current project is we're reading the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. Uh, one chapter, one verse, one book at a time, and just kind of reacting to it as we go along. Right now, we're in Proverbs, and we'd love for you to get whatever influence you can from us and what we do here. It's not reflective of all Christians, and perhaps we don't get everything theologically or doctrinally right. Um, but this is the laity assembling together, and we'd love for you to be with us. If you are already a Christian and you just enjoy Christian topics and discussions, welcome as well. We run this very similar to a Wednesday night study group or a Sunday school. It's all about that small group community, kind of just talking about, and we discuss the faith as we do. But we would love to have your input on things. It is a very relaxed, very informal approach to what we read and what we discuss. So no matter where you are in your faith, whether you are just beginning or you're, like I said, here looking for assurance, or you are smarter than me in religious in religious understanding, more mature than me in your faith, or somewhere in between, doesn't matter. We'd love to hear from you. So get in the chat, be part of the show, be part of this group that we've put together, and help make this better. And it's very easy. So let's put your 2 cents in worth in there. Where where am I right? Where do you think I'm wrong? Uh, what do you agree with or disagree with? What unique perspective or insight or experience do you have that you can provide to the group that perhaps we haven't considered yet? Or maybe you can shed some light on. Maybe you just want to add on to something somebody else said. Share your opinion. Ask questions. I might not have the answers. There's a good chance I don't have the answer for you, but we can talk about the question and perhaps point you in the right direction. Or maybe one of these fine folks in the chat will have that answer that I do not have. These are not selling you uh everything in this show. What I am doing is pointing you to Christ, who is the answer to everything. With that said, let's get into the show. How's everybody doing? Nico first in the chat. This is this is um old school now. When Nico's first in the chat, it's a throwback, right? We're gonna wear our old jerseys. Mr. Another long time viewer, typing Kamala second. Thad following up with, I hope Kamala is second. I hope she's last. That's what I hope. Veritax is here. Matt Felty, haven't seen you in a few days. I feel like I've missed you. Like it's been a couple of weeks. Of course, I've been gone a while too. It's been very hit or miss, but a lot of things are wrapping up. Uh, last last softball game of the fall season is Thursday. My son's soccer practices. His fall soccer season has ended until spring. Yeah, but we're entering the holiday season, right? We've got All Hallows Eve or Reformation Day, however you want to celebrate it. But it's we're entering that place here, but we want to get back on somewhat regular routine. Tomorrow night might be out. We're trying. Me and a group of friends are trying to get into this, do this little small short thing from now until Halloween, where we're watching spooky movies. When everybody's schedules will line up. So Tuesdays or tomorrow might be out, but I don't know yet. Just keep an eye out for the notification that I'll be streaming. Thursday again, softball, but hopefully next week will be much more of a return to what we're used to. And obviously Thursday, Halloween. We'll see. We'll see what we do. But again, great to see everybody. Great to have you guys all here because it's life pops up, as all of y'all can attest to. Uh, from Nico, Dresden, a longtime listener, a longtime viewer. His schedule changed and he's over in the UK. It makes it difficult for him to tune in. I haven't seen him in a while. I hope that he's catching on replay. But life interrupts our ability to do things with regularity. But what we should always be doing is trying to move closer to God. Like I said, we've all had things that have pulled us away from the show, even me, and I run this thing. So don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. You're always welcome here. We're always looking forward to seeing you. But and we also understand it's a completely voluntary thing. But I do miss y'all's input when y'all are gone. Blaine, so Alias has arrived. It's too scared to start on time. It ain't there yet. Alex Moore is lurking. He missed the intro. And Blaine, Fun fact, my first job was Spirit Halloween. Made assistant manager in a month at 18. Well, I mean, what do you do after? Like, isn't it only open 1 month? 1 month out of the year, 2 months out of the year? Oh, Alex, fun fact. So, we were actually just talking to my son. He is in the middle of the first Mistborn book. I think he's almost right halfway through the first Mistborn book. They said at school, dress up as your favorite, as dress up as your favorite book character. And he said, "Well, I wanted to do Kelsier from Mistborn, but he goes, I don't have enough time to get my costume together because we don't have a cloak around. We don't have a black cloak that we could put on him to kind of be a mist cloak. Not many people that his age read the book, so they're not going to be like, oh, that's not like exactly correct. He could wear the mist cloak and, like he said, draw scars all over his arms, his forearms that he has. But like I said, they dropped it on him at the last second. If they had told us Friday, we could have gone to Spirit Halloween. Well, Alex, you missed the intro watching a book review. Well, we're getting ready to review a book. So here you go. From one book to another. Anyways, it was a great weekend. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend as well. Um, got a few things done. Got to spend some time with some family that I hadn't seen in a while. Got to see got to hang out with them. They got to meet the kids. They got to meet the new baby for the first time. Always good. Always good to do. And then hanging out with some more friends later on. It's a pretty cool place to be. All right, so let's get into tonight's reading. It's part 5. So I think we left at verse 20. Whoever curses his father or mother, his lamp of life will be extinguished in time of darkness. Yes, Alex. Yeah, Kelsier wore a cloak a lot of the time, so that would be, and that's kind of how you would think of him, right? That between that and his very somewhat arrogant bearing. I liked Kelsier. I don't mean arrogant in a negative way, though. It does get him into trouble sometimes. All right, so let's start with, or let's pick back up right where we left off. So, verse 21 of Proverbs chapter 20. God bless you. Verse 21, an inheritance hastily gained by greedy, unjust means at the beginning will not be blessed in the end. An inheritance hastily gained by greedy, unjust means. That makes it sound like murder, since it's an inheritance, right? An inheritance claimed too soon will not be blessed at the end. The way that we think of inheritance is something that you is passed down from family member when they die. So when we think a hastily gained inheritance, you think, what, did you kill that person? I can't wait for it. I kill that person. But I think there's more context to that kind of where we lose over time when we do the parable when Jesus gives the parable of the prodigal son. He asks for his inheritance early. And he's a young kid. So let's not get hung up on. I'd rather us not get hung up on the inheritance, whether you inherit it at the end of someone's life. Let's talk about gaining money through kind of Veritax is talking about, through extortion, through fraud, through some way of coercion, nefarious or malicious means to take something from somebody that you're not entitled to yet, or you never will be entitled to. You might enjoy it for a while, but you're going to burn through it. You didn't earn it. You don't really appreciate it. Usually when folks do stuff like this, it is because they have things that they want to spend it on already. You've spent the money that you want in your mind already. So when you get it, it's easy come, easy go. And by the end, you've spent the money. It's almost certainly something worldly and temporary. And what do you have at the end? Today's in today's world, you'll think, what do people spend their money on? Cars, boats, houses, clothes, meals. You can spend through some money real fast. A lot of money very fast. And then what are you left with? You spend all that money. Well, cars need upkeep. Cars have taxes, property taxes, insurance, and property taxes on houses. Taxes, taxes, taxes. All comes back to taxes, right? Blaine ought to appreciate that. The taxes side of everything, since he loves taxes. But again, is it's oftentimes invested and turned into something that is constantly working for you? Is it something that you use to you know build generational wealth? I don't see that often. If any of you guys know an example of it, sure, make let me know. But for the most part, what we see, folks who steal money, folks who or if rob others, folks who uh, have some get rich quick scheme that actually pays off at first, or win the lottery. People who get money in, or athletes sign their first contract or their second contract. That money comes in quick and it's out. Veritas asks, Veritax asks, was Solomon talking about the prophecy on David's house after Bathsheba? I mean, might it have some influence on this? Sure. But I'm not I don't know how, but I think this is more broad than just something like that. Because what do we see in these when these proverbs? A lot of truisms, something that applies a lot to what we normally do, and us yet not using discernment or wisdom, and that kind of plays into that. I don't know how much David's error mistake with Bathsheba, which he can't be too upset about since he's a he was a product of that. Um, how how much that plays into this, and whether he's talking about Absalom, Yeah, I mean, you can use that as an example, but I think this is more general. Slayer statutes weren't invented yet. Alias says, my grandparents didn't allow us to get our inheritance till we were 24. They had passed when we were younger, but even then, we should have waited till I was 30. Yeah, well, it to me it's a maturity thing. Some folks get to that maturity faster. But I'm right there with you. When I was 25, I was married and bought my first house like around that time. I was married, settling down, or just gotten married, just settling down. That would have been a great thing to have to say, I want to build or I want to buy a house. Of course, you buy that starter house and you learn some lessons before you get your next house, which we didn't get until I was 31. We're all slow at maturity, especially us guys, at least. A lot of us are. Like I said, when you see maturity in a in a young person, it's something that you appreciate. And the older MR, you're 34, so you're probably at that age where you're starting you can look back and Alias, I don't know how old you are, but you're over 30, but you're at that age where you can look back and if you see, a young kid in their um early 20s, like when I see Yex on here, his faith, his maturity in his faith is something that is very refreshing because he's young, but he's able to talk about it and communicate it very well. It's a kid um that's able to focus on that and understand that it's very important and one that he takes seriously. Taking it seriously is a big deal. So I don't have a problem with 30 either. Um I think I might have talked about this kind of goes into the inheritance thing. I might have shared this story before. My grandmother on my mother's side, uh, her when I was a kid, her father died. So my great grandfather died, and he wasn't very involved in her life, but he had left his possessions to her, and so my mom and my dad helped her clean out his stuff. Well, while they were cleaning out stuff, they found all this money that he had basically hoarded, whether it's been cash or stocks or bonds. And she became a millionaire overnight in, let's call it around 1990. So you can imagine that money went a lot further. She immediately retired. She bought a house on the river, furnished it. My dad offered several times, hey, let's slow down. Let's put some of this money away. Let's get this, let's let this work for you and take care of you for the rest of your life. And she had a very much more you can't take it with you attitude. And, I think she was in her early 60s at the time, I believe. She didn't think she wasn't thinking about making that last for 30 years. She died in her early 90s. So it was house on the river. Um, hold on. Bought a house on the river, started taking vacations left and right, right? Opened up her social scene, which she was big into. And within Went a little over a decade. Most of it was gone. And like I said, she was in her early 60s when this happened, died in her early 90s. They lasted a little over a decade. So, instead of being frugal, discerning, smart, wise with her money, she ended up blowing through it relatively quick, right? And she didn't have a whole lot of needs, right? She didn't have a whole lot of things that she wanted in life at that point. She was, again, nice place to live in a nice area where all the kids and grandkids could come and hang out. I had a blast when she was living down there. Lots of memories in the summer at the river. But you know, and she wanted to see the world. She wanted to see places she never got to be. She grew up without much. She spent most of her adulthood poor or very or just working class. And so this was her opportunity. But instead of listening to somebody say, "Hey, let's take it one small piece at one small bite at a time. Not saying you can't do this, but let's let it work for you. Let's put this some of this stuff away. Let's let you, live off a lot of the interest and dip into it a little bit more." Didn't want to listen to that. And it didn't take long before what you're left with is bills. So Jason Jackson is here. What's going on, sir? I haven't seen you in a while. That's a friendly face to see. Glad to have you here. And Mar says, "Yeah, when I see a smart kid, I'm like, damn, you're about my level." Yeah, me too sometimes. Blaine said, "My grandpa used to say that maturity is regaining the seriousness of a child at play." I really like that. That's a good saying. If you think about it, how serious. Look, it's like the Instagram reels, the videos you see. It's just like girls playing with Barbies. The lore with my Legos or my army men, or for me, micro machines. And it's just like this huge, like epic battle scene, something like Lord of the Rings is going on. You take it seriously. Oh yeah, you're gonna make sure everything, and even girls, when that it's all thought out. I've watched my daughter play with, her dolls and the whole house situation. It's all thought out with this different stuff. Oh yeah, Esau and Adam, or hold on, Jacob and Esau. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's a great example. Not so much of a reference, I think, as it is an example, a biblical example of. But well, no. And here's why I say that maybe that's not. With Esau, a it's an example of not appreciating or giving it away without thought, right? Carelessness of giving away your inheritance, one that's, pretty important, especially considering, you know, who Isaac was and that covenant that had been established by Esau's grandfather, Abraham. So it's less that, I think. That Esau would be more like the a fool and his money are soon parted. The GI Joe lore was insane. Yeah, it's hilarious. I miss my micro machines. Jason said, "Sorry, I started trucking again. I've been busy. Just took a local job though. God has been good. Good. I'm glad. Hope you're driving safe." Um, yeah, we've got a couple of, I think, Alias trucks and Emmanuel Osorio. I know trucks. He's Think Emmanuel Soria is an owner operator or working for a family or his family in trucking business. So I appreciate that hustle. I work around a lot of drivers. I got a lot of respect for what you guys do. Had this guy named Sergeant Slaughter. Carl, we know and love, is here. Hey guys. All right, so we're gonna get started with the next group, but first I'm gonna go tuck my son in, say goodnight to him. So if you guys will excuse me for the next oops. Excuse me for the next couple of minutes while I do that. I will be back shortly. Yes, we are playing the Psalms. Oh Lord, my strength, my fortress is the Lord, my rock, and he that doth to me deliverance afford. My God, my strength, whom I will trust, a buckler unto me, the horn of my salvation, and my tower is he. Upon the Lord who worthy is, of praises will I cry, and then shall I preserve me, safe from mine enemy. Floods of ill men have flooded me, death's pangs about me, when hell surrounds me, fire on death's nest did me prevent. In my distress I call on God, God to my God did I. He from his temple heard my voice, to his ears came my cry. The earth as a fright, then did shake, trembling upon the seas. The hill's foundations move were, because he was displeased. Up from his nostrils came a smoke, and from his mouth there came devouring fire. Calls my name, return to flame. He also bowed down the heavens, and thence he did descend. The thickest clouds of darkness did under his feet attend. And he upon a cherub rode, and therein he did fly. Yeah, on the swift wings of the wind, his flight was from on high. In darkness made his secret place, about him for his tent, dark waters were, and thickest clouds of the airy firmament. And at the brightness of that light, which was before his eye, his thick clouds passed away, hailstones and coals of fire did fly. The Lord God also in the heavens did thunder in his ire, and near the highest gave his voice. Stones and coals of fire. Made his hands lift up God, and then left he scattered. His lightnings also he shot out, and was defeated. The water's channels then were seen, the world's foundations fast, and thy rebuke discovered were, and at thy nostrils blast. And from above the Lord sent down, and took me from below. From many waters he me drew, which would me overthrow. From my strong foes, and such as did me hate, because he saw that day for me.
God's ways, kept from my God, not turn wickedly. His judgments were before me, his laws, but not from me. Sincere before him was my heart, with him upright was I. Watchfully I kept myself from mine iniquity. After my righteousness, the Lord hath recompensed me. After the cleanness of my hands and the purity in his eye. No gracious to gracious unto upright and upright. Down to the pure, forward thou givest unto the forward white. The Lord will light my candle so that it shall shine full bright. The Lord my God will also make my darkness to be light. By thee through troops of men I break, and then
What did I walk into? What this going on here? And I left I left Carl's hello up here. Ah, professional as always, guys. That's what you'll get here. Nothing but nothing but the most professional production. Woo. All right. Get back to it. What I miss? Alias said my inheritance allowed me to live and fund my life for about 15 years. Had I known now back then, I could still be going, but the Lord works in mysterious ways and let us know that wasn't the way we were supposed to go. Hey, and maybe it served you in whatever capacity it needed to. Maybe it helped you out in some spots, and maybe it's not here anymore, but maybe it served its purpose, right? More so than just being a lesson on how fast it can go through. Mr said, when my dad went, I got nothing. It's okay. I built character. Yeah, not everything. Uh, yeah, sometimes, like you said, getting nothing uh, helps you become stronger, more resilient. Jason, I bet you wish you invested in Google. Jason, my mom paid up my trailer off with a reverse mortgage before she passed. It was a blessing. I'm thankful for my parents. Good. I invested in myself when I should have invested in other things. Easy come, easy go. Look, and like I said, being in the military, you see that money come fast and go fast. I mean, there's a reason. If any of you guys watch military memes or whatnot, and the joke about everybody in the military either owning a Toyota Tacoma or a Dodge Challenger is a real thing, because that's what you either buy a big pickup or you buy a sports car because you think you can afford it instead of making it work for you. Yeah, God bless moms like Jason's. There you go. So both left me a lot of wisdom for a career in trucking from my dad and lots of love from my mom. I was truly blessed, rich in love, and not in things. But compared to many on this planet, I'm very rich in things, so that's not completely true. So I wish I could have been a better steward of my VA backpack, the Virginia backpack. What's that, Matt? Is there a story? I mean, I'm assuming there's a story behind that. But yeah, no, I'm very thankful. Oh, back pay. Oh, yeah. Well, the unfortunate thing is they don't. If I understand it correctly, because I've never gotten back pay before. Um, the or not in any real sense that it was gone for a while, but they don't give you. You don't get interest on that. They don't pay you the interest that you would have gotten. All right. Let's see. Oh, yeah, very thankful for my parents. And if they left me with nothing, uh, monetarily, property wise, or anything, I would have a host of good memories and a host of wisdom passed down by them, and obviously the blessings of them raising me in a way that wasn't perfect, but was I understand now as a parent was the best that they could do, and I don't really have complaints about that. Like, we joke, some things that we didn't like and maybe weren't correct, but in the grand scheme of things, not even close. It was me and my brother, relatively well adjusted. I'm a little socially awkward, but I think that's more genetic. No, so this what? Wait. Ailey said, destroyed as I think I am, the Lord letting me know I'm not even close. But man, is that scary. I felt lost or I feel lost. Don't. You're found. I mean, listen to that. Like the Lord is letting you know something. You're not lost. He's still, you're not out of his sight. And yet you are reaching back out to him. So you're not lost. Matt Felty said, right, got out of debt, tithe, but wasted a bit. That's no problem. That's right. You're getting VA benefits. Okay. Good for you. All right. That was a long time on 21. Let's go to 22. Do not say, I will repay evil. Wait expectantly for the Lord, and he will rescue and save you. Wait for the NIV version. Excuse me. The NIV version of this says, do not say, I'll pay you back for this wrong. Wait for the Lord, and he will avenge you. Vengeance is for the Lord. It's easy for us to get caught up in this. Many of you might feel like I feel when a wrong is done, it needs to be corrected. And if nobody else is going to correct it, I'm going to do it. We take it into our own hands. And that is, unfortunately, very caustic to our souls because we don't know everything about it. We don't know what's going on in a person's mind. We don't know some of the circumstances that went on to create that event. And we don't know the other person's heart afterwards and their repentance. God does. And here's the other thing upon that. We do wrong things to God all the time. Does he carry out vengeance on us? We might wrong other people and might expect leniency. We all sin. We all fall short. Let the first man who is without sin cast the first stone. We are not entitled to restitution. We are not entitled to vengeance. It is not ours to collect. It is the Lord's. And so while it's upsetting sometimes to see folks who have been dealt with great tragedy. I had a loved one, a child murdered, and they are facing their murderer. But they say, I forgive you. That's a big step. That takes a lot when you really do it. And you're not doing it just because you're weak, but you do it because you're resisting the urge to hate, risking the urge to throttle them with your bare hands. That's a big deal. And this proverb backs that up. And it's not the first time, or it's not the last time that you're going to see something like this. We all have to answer for things. To answer for our action. But what you also have to realize that Christ didn't get on that cross just for you. He died for everyone. He died for everybody's sins. So not just yours, but the person who wronged you and crossed you. And again, this is one of the things that we struggle with the most, because it's just so easy for us to react and be the guy from Law Abiding Citizen, take matters into your own hands, especially if you've got nothing else. If they've took everything from you, if you're Job sitting on that hill, but Job didn't lash out. He asked why. He was frustrated, he was sad, he was mournful. But naked I came into this world, and naked I will leave it. It is tough. And this is written in a time before Christ's sacrifice, where there are actually avenues in the law for justice to get doled out. But again, it's not just you. You aren't taking it into your own hands. There's due process. It is done as a community with judges involved. It's not just, yeah. We all see the guy with the hat who turned the father with the in the hat and the sunglasses, who turns around from the payphones and shoots the guy who raped and murdered or just raped his son, shot him dead. We all go, based. But it wasn't his right. Do we understand? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And to me, I think that makes it easier to forgive. This is hard, and this will weigh heavily on your heart and on your consciousness. It sucks watching people get away with injustices if you are a person who cares about justice. But there is a beatitude for you. And there is a promise from God, justice will be dealt. But just remember, there are injustices in this world that have been committed against you or been committed in your sight. You have committed injustices as well. You are a sinner. You have trespassed. So you're not innocent. That said, Alias, I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Matt's talking about Luke 6:28 in the Bible app is today's verse. The verde of the day, the green of the day. No, I know what you mean. Ailey says, no, dude, I'm thankful that I have you guys. It's just a real funky time. I'm not ready to say the real down low or the real lowdown, but you in the chat keep me strong along with the faith in the Lord. Hey, look, man, I'm there for you. Pray for you if you need it, or even if you don't need it. We all need it. Even if you don't feel like you need it or feel like you don't deserve it. I'm not here to talk about that. But you keep that faith in the Lord. If you lost faith in everything else, keep that faith in the Lord. Not blind, just drifting. Roots are important, though, Alias. But I know that I feel like you understand that, and you're just looking to find your footing. Matthew said, I just realized I was off topic on my sharing earlier. I jumped to live in discussion, and the topic was inheritance. It's okay. Emmanuel, we're on the second proverb of the night. It's not only for us to fall into envy and hatred, but that's why God gave us grace. He shows us grace. Like, that's all his example, right? Matt Felty said, yeah, I participated in a discussion on this earlier today. An offense looking for agreement becomes a perpetuation of negative spirit rather than grace and forgiveness. It is surely hard to resist. Why, Gary? Why? Hey, look, the reasonable man doing unreasonable things. We all go, based. We all want our own bulldozer. But we have to understand. We have to understand, why are you doing this? Who is it you're impacting? Are you hurting anyone? Okay. Preach. You need it. Yeah, we do. We need it, alias. Yeah. Temptations come. And look, Nico, temptations are everywhere. Temptations, distractions, all sorts of things. They're of the world. And it's real. And they might seem small, and they might seem insignificant, and they might seem petty. Death by 1,000 cuts happens. Be so distracted, you lose you lose your focus on prayer or going to church or many other things that keep you kind of right, as right with the Lord as you could be, on the straight and narrow, or close to that path as possible. You're not the only one. And if that's the comfort you need, hopefully it is. You're not the only one. You're not alone in your fight. You're alone in the moment, in your head, maybe around you. You're alone. But know that there are other people alone in the moment with the same temptation as you, with a different temptation as you, one that you might find easy to ignore, but they can't. You're not the only one fighting that battle. You're one man on a battlefield with an opponent in front of you, and all around you, you're surrounded by brothers and sisters in Christ with their opponents on front of them. That's why it feels good, which be you've got a buddy, a fellow in the faith who's got your back. Maybe that's why confession is a good thing. Maybe not necessarily in the Catholic sense of confession, but confessing your sins to fellow believers that you're in communion with. You can help yourselves, and help each other. But again, you put on that armor of God. Let your faith protect you as much as possible. And again, let that grace protect you from yourself. This doesn't just say the NIV says the Lord will avenge you. I like the Amplified. He will rescue and save you. Maybe you need to understand that when you condemn yourself, it's not for you to do. You know you did something wrong. Your job is to repent, move forward, not stay stuck in the mud of your own self-loathing over your sinful nature. You got to move past it. You can't be Saul. As much as we likely are, you cannot be King Saul, because it will eat you up and you'll eventually become either apathetic about it, or it will you'll never be able to escape the shadow of it. Be joyous that there's sacrifice for you. We ain't alone. That's great and true. But it feels, but that does again. That's the thing. It's like we aren't alone. Sometimes that helps, but sometimes we understand. I am like I am in this room. I'm alone, right? I'm alone with my thoughts. I'm alone with my temptations. If you're an alcoholic, you might be in your house alone with that bottle in there somewhere, or that's the knowledge that you can drive down to the store and buy a 6-pack, or drive to the liquor store and get that 5th or whatever. Pornography's at your fingertips. It can feel alone, but we're never alone. If you know better, you know we're not alone. Nika said, the more I read the Bible repeatedly, I just think of Psalms when temptation comes, and it's been greatly helpful. Yes. Yes. And I think that is the point behind them, like Proverbs, is to help us navigate these waters. 23, we've been here before. Differing weights are detestable and offensive to the Lord, and fraudulent scales are not good. We've touched on this before. You treat people fairly. You do business with people fairly. You do not undercut them, overcharge them. Knowingly deal with, what's the word I'm looking for? Knowingly deal unfairly. It is offensive to God. Why? Why? Because what are you doing? You're taking advantage. For what? Worldly gain. Who suffers? You and the person that you're cheating. You're hurting yourself because you're hurting your soul. It's corrupting. And we all already know why it's bad for the other person. This one stands on its own. Doesn't need much explanation behind that. Don't be a cheat. Don't be a thief. "24, man's steps are ordered and ordained by the Lord. How then can man fully understand his way?" Here's one for you guys. It's a good one for you guys. Talking about being alone, talking about drifting, talking about temptations, talking about how you spent your inheritance. This is a very Calvinist sounding verse. Man's steps are ordered and ordained by God, or by the Lord. I'm sorry. How then can a man fully understand his way? You can hearken back to Job. Do you understand the greater plan? Do you understand his purpose, or your purpose for him? His designs for you? You're only here, and you looking backwards doesn't tell you where you're going. You looking backwards, you don't even have the full picture. God has perfect understanding, already knows where you're going, already knows what you're going to decide, already knows how you're going to affect the world around you and at large. It's okay to ask why. In fact, that's probably preferable than just assuming that you know what's going to happen, because it can all be uprooted in a moment, all be taken away from you. Again, just like Job, could all be taken away. Then what are you left with? Whatever's next. Whatever God has in store for you next. All you need to be concerned about is doing what you're supposed to do. Obedient to the Lord, faithful to the Lord, trying to bring others to the Lord, being a good example. Ooh, okay, 25. So we'll close out with 25. It is a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. It is a trap for a man to speak of a vow of consecration and say rashly, "It is holy," and not until afterwards consider whether he can fulfill it. Let's see what the NIV how it dumbs it down for us a little bit. It is a trap to dedicate something rashly and only later to consider one's vows. There you go. An oath. Jephthah and his rash vow to the Lord that he would give to the Lord whatever he first found when he got home, and it ended up being his daughter. Yes. Admiral Akbar Emmanuel. It's the Navy. um Consider your vows. I don't know about, I've made promises, right? I've made promises. Sometimes I worry, like, did I forget about something I said I was supposed to do that I was definitely going to do that I swore to God I was going to? Y'all ever get like that? And be like, did I tell him I was going to be perfect at this thing that I'm struggling with, and I'm definitely screwing up? Yeah, Nico. I'll see what I can do. We'll talk afterwards, okay? Make vows, right? promises? What's the weight behind it? What have you swore an oath on? What are the consequences of your actions should you fail? Oof. Well, hey, better late than never, right? Building a gaming computer. Emmanuel says, I've been learning not to only be online permanently when I'm done driving. I have to get out and be human. Yeah. Oh, look, that is so important, Emmanuel, because right, because especially if you're on the road trucking, like you're seeing for the most part the worst of people because people behave so poorly on the road. And then you get to the dock or your um your delivery point, wherever that might be, and people are at work and maybe not the best of environments there. But you get out and you start talking to people, go to the store, go to church, whatever, you gather around, you see people face to face, and you realize not everything is Twitter, not everything is Reddit. Don't ever go to Reddit, tag on it. But not everything is these creatures of the internet where all you talk about is ideology and who's right about what and what's based and what's stupid. I'm not using the other words. I mean, you just think about, hey, there's life. There's life past this. There's people that care about much more real things that affect their everyday lives. And you understand why a lot of people don't know a lot of this stuff that we talk about. Where did I leave off? Spread the gospel, make disciples. Alias says, "Oh, I'm failing. Please, Lord, give me more time." No. Prepare for not getting more time and be thankful for what you get and take advantage of it. Emmanuel says, "Sorry for eating right now. I'm falling into the Warhammer rabbit hole after the death of Star Wars. So forgive me. We played Force Unleashed recently. Super fun game. And Nico, I'll be praying for you, brother." Oaths of moment. Yeah. Like I said, oaths usually aren't very forgiving, and we're supposed to be forgiving. Warehouses are really soul killing, man. I don't care about that. I just want to veg, but it just sucks. It's not old internet. I miss the late 2000s and early 2010s internet. I'm tangenting here. Well, yeah, and again, you still end up being that creature. There is me in my mindset when what I'm going through, and this is me now, and it was me back when it was. Oh, I was on the Military Times forum because that was my hangout. That was my hangout, or Facebook arguments, or going through 4chan threads, through all through these last 2.5 decades I've spent in the internet. There's that world, and then when you disconnect, you realize that there are truths there that are real truths there, but there is life. outside. This is the whole. That's why the whole touch grass thing is such a real important thing for all of us. And I feel glad that I am relatively confident that I can unplug easily. Like if someone said today from a faith perspective, if I came to the realization that I needed to unplug everything from the internet, this right here would be the only thing I would really miss because it's talking with you guys, right? It's talking about faith. We're having these discussions. Or maybe some bits of social media when I'm keeping in touch with, not discussing or anything, just keeping tabs on friends and family. But all the other stuff, I should be able to leave it alone. And I feel that's good that I can sit here and say, "Hey guys, I got softball tonight. I'm not going to be on. Hey, I'm spending time with the family tonight. I'm not going to be on. Hey, I don't feel well. I don't do all or X reason. Hanging out with a friend, spending time with the wife, whatever. You guys understand because y'all live in the world, and I understand because I'm not chasing an algorithm. I'm not chasing relevance on here any more so than I would just like to bring more audience members in for this. But this is, I mean, guys, this is our group. So unacceptable. Unacceptable. Anyway. All right. So that's it for tonight. Tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow's stream's up in the air. Wednesday we should be doing it. Wednesday should be a stream. Thursday there will not be. And then we'll get back to some normalcy next week. So, Alias, Nico, Emmanuel, Jason, Matt Felty, Thad the Man, MR. What a crew. Carl, we know and love. Blaine, Veritax. I said Nico, right? I'm pretty sure I said Nico. I went past Nico. Alex Moore. And that's the crew. Thank you guys. It's a good night. Good night to be back. Praying for you guys, all of y'all. Lord bless you, that you are able to count your blessings and that the Lord would continue to bless you. Lord continues to bless me. That you'll appreciate what you've been given and what you have ahead of you, whatever that might be. But thank you guys for your words here tonight. And thank you for contributing. To everybody who is listening, not contributing. Hey, I'm just glad you guys have got someplace that you can you feel comfortable coming back to and listening to what we discuss, which is the word right now, right? Scripture is very important. And it's great. And I appreciate it. I want to be thankful at the end of every stream. Thankful for you guys. Thank you for the chat. And thankful for all of you guys who are catching me on replay. Thank you. I'm sorry I missed you. I hope to catch you live sometime soon. Everybody have a good night and God bless.